Foodie went live on October 15th in a live stream she called Let's Hang. It was an hour and 18 minutes long. Let's see how short I can get it. She's in her patio. She's wearing her Temu striped dress and a beige/white hijab. We can see her patio wall and olive tree branches that overhang it. We can also see what she calls her clothesline. She says nothing for over 30 seconds. Then she begins to greet chat and she squeals at Julia. She gets up to pull some olives off of the tree. This takes about a minute for her to show us a semi-ripe olive that she then throws for Julia. We can hear a lot of traffic. She gets up for a body shot and sings the I'm a Little Teapot song while doing the dance. This takes less than a minute and she's out of breath when she sits down. She complains about the heat. She complains about not having any junk food there that she wants to eat. Only Crispies, and she eats those all the time. She later clarifies that Crispies are chicken tenders. She smugly tells chat that she's installing an AC in her new apartment for the winter. People ask her if there's soda there. She describes that they can get 2-liter sodas for about 80 cents, Vimto flavor. She checks to see if her filters are on. She says they are. She starts a list of what condiments she likes. She tries to pick up Julia. Julia hates being held. She says she won't be smoking anything in Canada. She points out the bags and wrinkles on her face while staring into the camera. She tries to hold Julia again. Julia hates it. She confirms she'll be in Canada by Halloween. She shows off more of the olive tree. She says Julia likes to run from one end of the courtyard to another. She says she wishes she could be more open, but she has hopefully learned through the years that she can't. She says she's confused because she thought that clothes dryers shrunk clothes, not the sun, but when she puts her clothes outside to dry, they all shrink. The slugs seem to have vacated the bathroom. She lists the various pests and fauna she's seen in her house. She tries to call Julia over to her. She says she needs to raise more money for when she's home. She says she has her PayPal pinned and hints heavily for donations. She turns her nose up at Abizer's suggestion that she tries preserving some olives. Foodie says it takes months to even make them edible. Obviously, Foodie has the patience of an irate toddler, so there's no way she's waiting longer than it takes for her to order food delivery to eat anything. She worries about things biting Julia outside. She hears some children and she thinks they're laughing at her. Abizer tells her she's naturally funny. She giggles and tells chat to name one thing they're naturally good at. She says she looks like Pete's without her hijab. She hawks her cameos. She wants to do a marathon stream before she leaves. She wants to earn at least $700 before she goes home. She asks what souvenirs she should get in Syria because she's probably not coming back ever again. Abizer asks if they can have her toe. Foodie says sure, if it gets cut off. She can mummify it and sell it. She says she'll do anything for money. Side note, I have a whole theory on this and where she could possibly find her true path. Hit me up in the comments if you'd watch a video about that theory. She picks up Julia again. Julia hates it again. Chad is asking her to bring home oud because it's expensive outside of the Middle East. Based on the history of the Postcard Club and the Cuban coffee, press X to doubt. She begins to regale chat with what Pulpy Syntax calls dreaming as planning for Halloween. She says on Halloween day she's getting her nails did. She says she'll already have had a million nashies by then, so she's going to get the Halloween Burger King food. Then she wants to go to Spirit Halloween, and she's not sure what she'll do Halloween night. Chat asks what she'll miss about Syria. She says everything, all of the elements. Salah's family, shawarma, the traditional way of living there. Chat asks if she would miss Salah. She says of course. She doesn't even need to mention Julia and Salah because that's a given.
If anything happens to me, it was them. It was him, it was them.
She says, however, this part of her era is done. She's begun rocking back and forth in a self-soothing kind of way, unsure why, she does not specify. She says Julia hates kids and has scratched Salah's family so far. She says it's almost 7 p.m. in Syria. She says Salah went to visit his family because he's feeling better. He brought her food before he left, a pizza and some Crispies, which again are chicken tenders. She's glad he spends a lot of time with his family so that he has someone with him when she's gone. His family is very caring and involved. She said as soon as they heard he was sick, they were bringing over food and medicine. Foodie says that's so great, but there's disgust on her face. She says it's weird, especially since she and her family would be like, stay away from me, I don't want to catch it. She says her hip is bad. She will likely have to get a wheelchair service at the airport. She then makes her Shakira hips don't lie, they're starting to crack and die joke. Chat brings up her health and flying. She says, what if they see the glass in my foot? Are they going to deny me boarding? Foodie, you are going to lose a toe. I've literally been there and done that. I don't recommend it. She sits, rocking and squinting into the camera, reading the chat, saying nothing for over a minute. Chat is still more concerned about the glass in her toe than she is. She says Salah is adamant that he never wants to go to Canada. She says she wouldn't want to feel responsible for his happiness in Canada, and he's probably relieved not to be responsible for her anymore once she leaves. She says his goals have changed. He no longer wants to travel. He wants to work on his house in Syria and build his business. She doesn't know what she wants in life. She wants a quiet life, but she also wants to be a superstar. She jokes about becoming Mobility Miriam. I have a theory that the faster she says just kidding after she makes a stupid statement, the less she's actually kidding. She says she just wants to be silly and have fun and not be restricted by anyone or anything. She does the Molly Shannon superstar bit. She says she can't wait to eat Cornwall pizza. It's unlike any other pizza. They won a prize and everything. She has some fall gifts waiting for her in Canada. She says she's going to buy one of everything at McDonald's. She calls Julia a nuisance. She wants to go to Ripley's Believe It or Not in Niagara and see the freaks with 2 heads or whatever. She's going to try to get Julia in a couple years. She needs to save up and hire a private transport company. It'll probably be 5 or 10 grand, so it'll be a few years. Julia will be okay with Salah for that long. Someone tells her that Cornwall pizza is shitty pizza. She says Pizza Hut is shitty pizza and Cornwall pizza is the best. She liked the Pizza Hut buffet when they had it, but there are better pizza options. Her nose is congested. She says if she's going to get sick, she hopes she does it now and that she's not too sick to travel. She confirms she'll be ordering 2 nashies as soon as she lands. She admits her excitement for food is next level and it's bad. She brings up a soup she made with a whole head of garlic. There's no indication as to when she made this soup. She just says it was good and she wants to make it again. Abizer tells her they've stopped skipping her ads in her lives. Foodie thanks them and then says she thinks it helps, but she still doesn't know after all these years.
Editing fat chick here. This is what I found after 2 seconds of Googling.
She says Popeyes has good chicken strips, but that's it. She has a $28 Starbucks gift card that she wasn't able to spend in Kuwait, so she's going to get a drink every single day for like the first 4 days. Chat suggests she set up a food itinerary for herself. She thinks that's a great idea. She immediately begins to brainstorm her list. She lists food she can't wait to eat and places she can't wait to eat at. This goes on for 8 minutes. I timed it. She wants to know where chat thinks she's going to be living. She says she's never going to tell, but she's curious what chat thinks. I give it less than a month before she doxes herself. She says she should write a book about her dreams. It's like sometimes when she goes to sleep, she goes into a whole different life. Dreams. She relays her crazy dream. In a nutshell, a taxi driver takes her to her new apartment, starts hitting on her, and then cuts off his head to laugh at her. Beezer Strawberries has said something in chat that has caused a kerfuffle. She relays another boring dream. Chat shares some dreams. Foodie hears gunshots and tells Julia they need to go inside. She says they just shoot guns off for no reason. She reminisces about former YouTubers and Beezers who have apparently died or just vanished. Her original plan was to go to Syria for a couple of years with Salah and then go to Canada. She asks Chat if she should go inside. She asks Chat if she should make some coffee. She says she has no food. If she asks Salah to bring her chicken, it will be the 3rd time today. Someone in chat brings up the cat she abandoned in Canada over the summer, Smokey. She brings up another dream. The call to prayer plays in the background. She stretches, frowns, yawns, kissy faces at Julia, and squints at the chat for 3 minutes. The self-soothing rocking resumes. She discusses the call to prayer. Chat brings up the opening of the movie The Exorcist. They discuss her role as the first wife. Side note, if she gets divorced, is she still considered the first wife? She discusses what extended family members she has left. She tries to call Julia over again. She shows off all of the Arabic phrases she's learned in the 3 years she's been there. She says she's trilingual now. Chat tells her not to be self-destructive when she's back in Canada. Remember what she learned during her time with Salah. She says she's not going to go crazy, but she might. She says she's looking forward to not having to confer with anyone else before doing whatever she wants or eating whatever she wants. She adds more restaurants to her food calendar. She confirms to chat that she is in pain. She says her hip is, quote, shot. Reactor Pulpy Syntax mentioned in a live stream he was doing that maybe that's the hip she's been sealing on, like the one she's been resting all of her weight on for the bulk of her day. Maybe that's why it hurts, but that was just a theory. Chat compliments her black abaya with the floral embroidery. She says she still has it. Chat begins baiting her by bringing up people from her past that have trolled her. Beezer Strawberries is mentioned again. What did you do, Strawberries? She says she's going in to make coffee. She's mad she can't turn the cam off midstream. She's going to get offline, call Salah, make coffee, and come back. And she's gone. Friendos, my next video is going to be a couple of hers recapped into one. She went live the same night as this one with 2 more attempts, and it's a whole lot of nothing, but that seems to be what I'm doing here. If you appreciate what I'm doing, or like what I'm doing, or don't like what I'm doing, leave me a comment, maybe give me a like, subscribe if you feel like it. I'll see you next time.